Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Review for September 7th, 2018. This update is brought to you by the 60 Plus Association and the American Association of Senior Citizens. For more information, visit 60plus.org. If you want to go in depth with the articles discussed in this video, there are links in the description below. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife are making their first major foray into politics with a $10 million contribution to a super PAC that aims to elect military veterans to Congress. The contribution introduces Mr. Bezos, who also owns the Washington Post, to a class of political megadonors that include Los Angeles casino magnate Sheldon Adelson and California billionaire Tom Steyer, who have each poured more than $100 million into elections over the past decade. But unlike Adelson and Steyer, the Bezos contribution isn't to a partisan political organization. Instead, it is to the With Honor Fund, a year-old super PAC that backs veterans of both major parties who are running for House seats. Federal Election Commission filings show the organization has raised $7 million between its launch last October and the end of July. Ry Barcott, the founder of the With Honor Fund, says the Bezos couple shared his group's goal of building a cross-partisan coalition of House members willing to work with the other party. The With Honor Fund is backing 33 House candidates now running, 19 Democrats and 14 Republicans. Mr. Barcott said the PAC does no screening for ideology, but rather seeks out a common bond of service and commitment to the country. Mr. Barcott said the With Honor Fund backs candidates who agree to its three-point pledge, which calls for integrity, civility, and courage. Other major With Honor contributors include Leslie Wexner, the CEO of the company that owns Victoria's Secret, and his wife Abigail Wexner, who gave a combined $2.8 million. Mr. Bezos' parents gave the super PAC $2 million. Mr. Bezos, whom Forbes magazine in March ranked as the world's richest man with a net worth of more than $150 billion, has to this point not been active as a campaign donor. The Motley Fool gives us a complete breakdown of how Social Security spends its money. The U.S. federal government spends in excess of $4 trillion a year, and at the top of the heap is Social Security, the government's largest single expense. Social Security, which provides disability and/or survivor's insurance protection to an estimated 175 million workers and divvies out benefits to over 62 million beneficiaries a month, racked up $952.5 billion in expenditures in 2017, according to data from the Social Security Board of Trustees' 2018 report. Nearly 99% of its $952.5 billion in expenditures, which totaled $941.5 billion, went to eligible beneficiaries last year. The bulk of spending last year, nearly 85% of scheduled benefits, went to the Old Age and Survivors Trust, or the OASI. The OASI is responsible for making benefit payments to retired workers, as well as survivors of eligible workers who are now deceased. Keep in mind that while retired workers and widows or widowers are going to make up the majority of benefit payments in the former and latter categories, there are auxiliary payments being made to spouses and children who may qualify for a benefit based on a retired worker's earnings history. In total, retired workers and auxiliaries were paid $682.2 billion last year, including $644.2 billion directly to retired workers. This represents 67.6% of all program expenditures last year, and $30.5 billion to the spouses of retired workers. $6.5 billion went to cover the Social Security Administration's administrative expenses. This includes the cost of employing thousands of Social Security workers, paying rent on SSA buildings, electricity costs, and other expenses. For a complete breakdown of the spending, click on the link in the description below. And finally, a federal judge expressed skepticism Wednesday that the rest of Obamacare can survive without the tax penalty that was originally the crux of the 2010 law. U.S. District Court Judge Reed O'Connor fired stern questions at Democratic state attorneys general who are defending the law, saying the Supreme Court cast Obamacare as a package deal, with the tax penalty tethered to the law's goodies. The judge is presiding over a high-profile lawsuit that says Congress's decision to zero out Obamacare's mandate penalty in 2019 means the rest of the law, including requirements that insurers cover people with pre-existing conditions, must fall. 6 years ago, Chief Justice John Roberts cited Congress's taxing authority in upholding the mandate, which was crafted to prod healthy people into the new marketplace. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who filed the suit with 19 other red state officials, said, "The Supreme Court held Obamacare was only tethered to the Constitution by a very thin thread, the fact that the individual penalty raised some revenue. Congress severed that thin thread with the Tax Act of 2017, and all of Obamacare must fall." Obamacare's defenders, though, say Congress didn't muster the votes to repeal the law, and the courts shouldn't go there. The Trump administration has sided with the states on the legal arguments, but has urged the judge to pump the brakes on a decision that would freeze Obamacare right away. They said any changes shouldn't happen until the start of the new year, when the mandate tax sinks to zero. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Review for September 7th, 2018. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.